The gaming industry has become a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, with some game launches bigger and more profitable than some of the biggest and brightest blockbuster movies. There are over 500 million gamers on mainstream console and PC logging in countless hours in their favorite games. If you're a video game developer or publisher, bringing these interactive blockbusters to the gamers' homes is a risky business venture that hinges on two major factors, and that is all about to change. This is Colteastwood. I'm in the middle of two critically panned games and another on deck to purchase, and the industry professionals are telling me that I'm not supposed to like them or spend my hard-earned money on them. We're going to talk about what those two factors are and how they almost outright discourage us to buy or play these games. If you want to support the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell to join the channel and the discussion we have here weekly. Hit the like button if you're interested in this topic, and let's get right into it. I recently got an insight into the games review industry by receiving a review code for Crackdown 3 several days before the game released to the rest of the public. I had the pleasure of playing the game on my own merits without any outside influences, no review scores, no sales figures or opinions from peers or detractors. If you haven't, I'd suggest watching my review of Crackdown 3. I gave the game a decently high score, and mostly because of my enjoyment and quantified fun that pushed that score up about 5 points out of 100. The industry critics as a whole have reviewed recent games unfavorably. Crackdown sits at a 60 out of 100 when it should be really closer to a 70. Far Cry New Dawn, which is a trimmed down Far Cry 5 with creative additions for 3/4 of the cost, is in the 70s. Anthem, one of the year's most anticipated games, is already looking like it'll be in the 60s or low 70s out of 100. Regardless of Metacritic, which is powerfully influential, consumers are trying their best to forego a Metacritic consensus and follow the advice of friends and trusted content creators' opinions. Metacritic's aggregate score paints a seemingly objective picture of the quality and value of games, with dozens, if not 50 plus, professional sites combining their subjective opinion of a game. These Metacritic review scores that bring a majority vote to the top of the glass hinges the compensation that talent in the game studios can earn. Regardless of such an abysmal review aggregate for Crackdown 3 on the Xbox One, and regardless of releasing right next to Metro Exodus, Jump Force, and Far Cry New Dawn, Crackdown 3 was the most played on the Xbox, even being celebrated as the most played new full-price game on the Xbox One. The full-price designation to separate the massively popular free-to-play Fortnite and the brand new Apex Legends. Here's where Microsoft has poised their first-party titles to thrive and succeed even if they launch in the blast zone of games. Xbox Game Pass makes a full-price game like Crackdown 3 more accessible for frugal gamers, withholding $60 for another game like Anthem. Microsoft doesn't care if you buy Crackdown 3 outright, digitally or physically full-priced, or if you decide to play it within Xbox Game Pass. For $10 a month right now, you get almost 200 Xbox 360 and Xbox One games with unlimited download and installed playtime. Those who decide to give Crackdown 3 a try are finding that they love the game. The general consensus among players spending 10 to 30 hours on Crackdown 3 is that the game is not a 6, but more like an 8. Crackdown 3 seems to have lost 10 points out of 100 just for its troubled development. But we're not here to damage control what happened to Crackdown. There is a second factor that misrepresents the gaming industry and the success of games, and it's sales. Sales are often hoisted and waved by the loudest of fanboys when Metacritic or reviews is dismissed as a viable measurement of the quality of a game. Sure, some of the most popular and high quality and most enjoyable games have incredible sales figures attached to them. But free-to-play titles like Fortnite and Apex Legends have broken that measuring stick. Some of the world's most popular games in the world are free like Roblox, Dota 2, and League of Legends, or just $20 like Minecraft. Sales matter to a point, but sales should not be a point of matter for fanboys to argue that their favorite game is better than someone else's. Unless you have your investment portfolio weighed heavily in EA, Microsoft, or Sony, sales only matter if a game performs so poorly that it doesn't justify a sequel. With the first-party games included day and date on Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft has removed the consumer's concern for sales. This has been a hard thing for fans to shake, since a game like Gears 5 can be dismissed as being popular since it can be played by anyone for just $10 on Game Pass. Here is where the disconnect is created. Microsoft has removed the reliance on sales figures with their hardware and their software, as long as you are buying the game or buying a residual subscription for Xbox Game Pass. Don't worry about if Microsoft is not making a profit on massive games like Gears 5 or Halo Infinite. They've run the numbers, and the irresistible draw of almost 200 games on Game Pass means that Microsoft is making millions per year, as millions of users refuse to cancel the value they enjoy from Xbox Game Pass. And with the addition of xCloud, a streaming-based service, taking your favorite games outside of the home console means that fanboys need not be concerned with a console count of 40 million. All of this will change next generation. Our perception of the word exclusive, even on PlayStation, will be washed away. It's for the better, and it will bring more people to more games. Starting next generation, Xbox Game Pass will be an integral part of the Xbox ecosystem. Traditional game purchases will always be the mainstream way to get games, but with Xbox Game Studios pushing out 4 first-party exclusives per year, Xbox Game Pass will save you half of your money that you may have spent. Sony's PlayStation Now has expanded to downloadable titles and may see major changes to either emulation or a fully realized streaming service on current server technology to provide PlayStation gamers with more flexibility, access, and consumer-friendly options for the PS5. When consumers have more options and more power to play the games they most desire, the reliance on Metacritic or other aggregate review sites will diminish. Review scores are part of a branch of consumer smart approach to playing these games that cost millions to make, years of hard work, and amazing talent that provides more entertainment per dollar than any other media. Local hardware and consoles and PCs will be a viable mainstream place to play our games for the next 10 to 15 years. When server-based game streaming becomes conventionally established, the gaming industry may be far removed from relying on consoles. Music and movies have strayed from physical-based media to streaming digitally owned with access nearly anywhere. Gaming is following this trend, and having access to your favorite games outside of the traditional console doesn't make your favorite console any less relevant. It actually makes your games you own more prevalent and accessible. This harms the fanboy checklist of what is locked down to your favorite piece of plastic. But for the coming years, PlayStation and Xbox will be centered around a great kit of hardware in their consoles and surrounded by services to expand the access to these games via PlayStation Now and Xbox Game Pass with xCloud streaming, just to name a few. Metacritic and OpenCritic are great sites to get a more objective view of what a game's quality is. But the best thing to use for Metacritic and OpenCritic is a combination of your peers, your favorite gaming content creators and sites, and combine all this with your own experience in games that you've liked in the past. Let the developers, the publishers, and the investors worry about sales of games. As some platforms move to an engagement number, having more players and a healthy ecosystem will make a greater difference on the health and the success of the games that you like to play in the community where your friends are. But most of all, make sure you're championing the most pro-consumer options that these platforms can give you. Having more access to the games you play where you want to play them is a good thing. And we already know that Sony is hard at work at bringing stellar first-party content, and Microsoft is gearing up to do the same for next generation. This is Colteastwood. Thank you for watching. Interesting past couple weeks here on this channel. My review period for Crackdown 3 was so enjoyable, fun, and satisfying. A lot of you checked out my video review, and I had about 3 times the amount of people expressing their opinion in the comment section. If you missed the review, a link for it will be on the screen here in a few seconds. If you enjoyed this video or the channel, like and subscribe. Add me on Xbox and Twitter if you want to talk gaming. Have a great week. Have fun with all of these new games. I'll see you online and in that comment section. And people there have no filters, so if you leave something, please be nice.